Hey, ever read something, blink, and completely forget it? I once forgot my own Wi-Fi password while typing it in. If your memory feels like a leaky bucket, you're not alone. Today, I'm sharing 6 science-backed hacks to help you remember faster and retain info longer, even if your brain feels foggy. Stick around because hack number 5 is a game changer that most people overlook. So, why do we forget things? Here's the first thing you should know. It's not because you're lazy or not smart. You forget stuff because your brain is constantly trying to filter things out. It's like your brain's going, do I really need to keep this or can I just toss it? And if something feels boring or unimportant, your brain usually just lets it go. That's why, if you actually want to remember something, you've got to help your brain see that it matters. And the way to do that is by changing how you learn it. Here's the first hack: write by hand, not just type. Here's something a lot of people overlook. Writing things by hand helps you remember them better than just typing. Why? Because when you write by hand, you're doing more than copying words. You're actually processing the information. Typing is fast, almost too fast. You can take notes word for word without really thinking. But handwriting is slower. It forces your brain to slow down, choose what's important, and rephrase the info as you write. That process of summarizing, thinking, and moving your hand creates stronger connections in your brain. You're not just hearing or seeing the information anymore. Now you're physically interacting with it, and that helps it stick. Studies have shown that students who write notes by hand understand and remember more than those who type. Why? Because writing activates more parts of the brain, including areas linked to memory and learning. So even if it's just a quick summary, a diagram, or some messy bullet points in a notebook, writing things down helps move what you're learning from short-term memory to long-term storage. Hack number 2, visual hooks. Sometimes words just don't stick, but images? Your brain loves visuals. That's where visual hooks come in, turning boring info into mental pictures your brain can actually hang on to. Here's how it works. Let's say you need to remember the word claustrophobia, the fear of small spaces. You could create a visual hook. Picture someone trapped inside a tiny closet, wide-eyed, sweating, desperately trying to escape through a cat flap. Weird? Yes. Memorable? Absolutely. That image becomes your mental shortcut. So later, when you hear claustrophobia, your brain flashes back to that closet. And boom, the meaning's right there. This works for all kinds of stuff. Need to remember someone's name? Turn it into a picture, like Mark. Imagine him leaving a big mark on a wall. Learning vocabulary? Draw a stick figure or a quick doodle next to the word that shows what it means. The point isn't to be artistic, it's to create a mental anchor. And the weirder or more vivid the image, the better it sticks. Because now it's not just a word, it's a scene in your head. So next time something's hard to remember, don't just repeat it, see it. Turn it into a visual, hook your memory to an image. That's a trick your brain won't forget. Honestly, this one hack helped me remember an entire TED Talk I watched 6 months ago. No joke, give it a try. Hack number 3, chunking. Your brain doesn't like long, unbroken streams of information, but it loves chunks, smaller, organized groups that are easier to manage. Think of your memory like a small tray. If you dump a pile of marbles on it, most of them roll off. But if you group them into little bowls, suddenly it holds way more. Here's a simple example. Let's say you're trying to remember this number, 149203. It's 6 digits, hard to hold in your head all at once. But if you chunk it, 14, 92, 0, 3, now it's in 3 parts. Your brain can process it faster and remember it longer. It's the same trick your brain uses with phone numbers, credit cards number, or dates. You don't memorize 16 digits in a row, you remember it in chunks. 1324 5878 9012 3762. And it's not just for numbers. Let's say you're studying a list of facts for a test. Instead of reading a whole paragraph, break it down into categories or themes. For example, if you're learning the causes of World War I, chunk them into groups: political alliances, military buildup, assassination of Archduke Ferdinand, nationalism. Now your brain sees 4 clear ideas instead of a wall of text. So next time you're overwhelmed with info, ask, how can I break this into smaller, meaningful pieces? Chunking helps your brain hold more and hold it longer. Hack number 4. Say it, test it, teach it. If you really want to remember something and make it stick, don't just read it. Say it out loud, test yourself, summarize it in your own words. This technique is called active recall, and it's one of the most powerful learning methods out there. Instead of passively rereading notes or replaying videos, pause and ask yourself, what did I just learn? Can I explain it without looking? Could I teach this to someone else? That moment of struggle, even if you don't get it perfect, actually helps your brain lock it in. Because now you're pulling information out of your memory, not just pouring more in. That's where real learning happens. That's how we remember things longer. And when you say it out loud, you activate more parts of your brain, like your speech and hearing centers. That extra brain activity boosts memory. When you test yourself, explain it in your own words, or teach it to a friend, you're not just remembering, you're organizing, processing, and personalizing what you've learned. And that's what makes it stick. So next time you're learning something new, don't just highlight it or rewatch the video. Say it out loud, quiz yourself. Explain it like you're teaching it to someone else. Honestly, I love this hack because I was too lazy to highlight anymore. Hack number 5. Patterns, stories, and connections. Our brain doesn't like storing random facts that float around with no meaning, but it loves patterns, stories, and connections. If you want to remember things faster and hold on to them longer, these are the 3 tools your brain naturally understands and responds to. Patterns, your brain's shortcut system. Your brain is always looking for patterns because patterns make information easier to recognize and remember. Take learning a new language, for example. There's always a structure, like sentence formats, verb endings, or grammar rules. Once you learn the pattern, you don't need to memorize every single phrase, you start to predict what comes next. Same goes for math, music, or even coding. Patterns reduce mental load, they act like shortcuts for your brain. So whenever you're trying to learn something new, ask yourself, is there a structure here? A rule that repeats? If there is, use it. Because your brain loves a shortcut. Stories, memory loves meaning. Your brain is wired for storytelling. It's how humans have passed down knowledge for thousands of years. Say you need to remember a random list. Apple, ladder, moon, shoe. You could repeat it 20 times, or you could turn it into a simple story. An apple fell from a tree, landed on a ladder, launched it into the moon, and knocked off someone's shoe. It's weird, sure, but now your brain has something to follow. A beginning, a middle, and an end. That little narrative turns chaos into meaning. So when you're learning dry facts or steps, try wrapping them into a simple cause and effect story. Because memory doesn't just love logic, it loves meaning. Connections, the memory glue. New information sticks best when it connects to something you already know. This is called association, and it's how your brain builds mental pathways. For example, let's say you're learning the word photosynthesis. Instead of memorizing the definition cold, break it down. Photo means light. Synthesis means to make. So photosynthesis equals using light to make energy. That's what plants do. Now, it's not just a random science term, it's something your brain understands because it's linked to familiar ideas. So whenever you learn something new, ask, what does this remind me of? How can I connect this to something I already get? The more links you make, the more doors your brain has to find that memory later. So remember, look for patterns. Tell a story, make a connection. That's how you move information from short-term to long-term memory in a way your brain actually enjoys. Hack number 6, spaced repetition. Here's something cool about how our memory works. We actually forget things, a lot, like almost right after learning them. But that's not a bad thing. It's part of how we learn. When you first learn something, your brain stores it, but if you don't revisit it, it starts to fade. That's called the forgetting curve. It's totally normal. Now here's the trick. Every time you review that info after you start forgetting it, your brain has to work a little harder to recall it. And that effort makes the memory stronger and stick around longer. So instead of trying to cram everything in one session, Spaced repetition spreads out your reviews over days or weeks. You study today, then again tomorrow, then a few days later, then maybe a week later. Each time you review, it's like giving your brain a gentle workout. It strengthens those memory muscles. The key is to embrace forgetting as part of learning and space out your practice so you remember stuff long-term, not just for a test. That's why spaced repetition works, because it uses forgetting as a tool to help you truly remember. So here's the truth. Learning faster and remembering longer isn't magic. It's all about strategy. You don't just read info, you work with it, shape it, and make it stick. Anyone can do this. Yes, even you. If this video helped, smash that like button so more people can find it. And if you want more brain hacks coming your way, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. Now go out there, hack your memory, and make forgotten passwords a thing of the past.